try to do that to be able to make sure that the sprinter's jersey or the points jersey is given to a faster rider. It's always very questionable, is the points jersey for the fastest man, or is it for the one that has the best scores on all the stages? And often the case, we've seen the last few years that it's always been a very close call for the polka dot jersey because there's so many points on the finishing climbs. So what if the profile is having maybe first category climbs more at the beginning rather than all of them at the back end of the event?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because you want, traditionally the green jersey was the sprinter's jersey. It's become less so.
Less so.
It's nice to see that the sprinters have a competition to go for. Otherwise, they're just stage hunting.
Well, if you look at how cycling has been reshaped, there's not much space for the pure sprinters in Grand Tours.
No.
Part of Tour of Italy, maybe, which still is, I want to say, some more open sprinter stages. But for example, in the Volta, you might have a whole Volta with maybe 3 real sprinter stages, and still there might be a second cat climb at the beginning. So it's quite difficult, and often actually in the Tour of Spain, you do see the GC riders in the sprinter's jersey or in the polka dot jerseys as well. In the Tour, it's still a little bit more balanced as they just start now the call, and we just see an attack there from the Movistar rider. 9.3 kilometers, 6.5%.
Garcia Peña's decided to go away at the bottom of the climb. There's the vital statistics. First category climb. One of the team of Total Energy trying to come across. Looks like Verschade's trying to close the gap on this rider. Now Garcia Peña just out the saddle, just rocking and rolling a little bit onto the bottom of the climb. Goes across to get a bottle with a little bit of gel and ice as well to make sure that he stays cool and hydrated on this particular climb. 8.9 kilometers to go to the top. Think we'll see any action on here, or it's going to be more about the final climb?
I think we're going to start seeing a few riders getting dropped with the pace. I'm not sure if Vermeesh is going to have to ride the whole climb, or if some other riders are going to give it a bit of a support. You can see the climb, it's difficult, but there's nothing crazy so far.
Well, we're going to hear now from yesterday's second place rider, Tadej Pogačar, and his thoughts on today's stage. Visma Lease bike bring the race onto the climb.
First of all, he's a teammate. That's how we met, and now I consider him as a friend and someone that I can pass on some small advices. Even though he's already champion and he basically almost knows everything, but it's just I feel I can mentor him sometimes.
Today, will there be someone from UAE in the breakaway?
Oh, we'll see. I don't think so. But today's really tough stage. It's long and demanding, and a lot of people will go in breakaway probably, and we need to take care of the situation at the start.
Tadej Pogačar talking about Isaac Del Toro, thinking about the fact that he's got someone to mentor now, which is a bit of a transition from being the young rider in the team winning all the races to suddenly being the mentor of the up-and-coming star. But it doesn't seem like he's too worried about it. It seems like he's enjoying that scenario.
I mean, you can see it that when they race together, they can do great things together. So at the moment, it's always a good thing to have maybe your closest opponent at least on your own side. The one you can control. He can't control Vingegaard or Sexas or Remco, but he has a little bit more control on Isaac Del Toro. This is where we're going later on. This region is called La Sardegna.
Stunning place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I was actually here a couple of weeks ago for a little getaway for 3 days just of cycling and discover a new area, although I've been racing Volta Catalunya a lot. But it's different coming here in February or March, and most of the stages have been cancelled because of the snow.
Yeah.
Another thing coming in and everything is just green and lush and just absolutely pretty.
Yeah, it's a stunning place. It really is. This is Aaron Burrow and Pedersen now starting to be distanced from the breakaway group.
And the peloton a minute 30 behind.
He is an intelligent rider from these two, though, because they can just take their time, work their way back to the peloton.
Yes, there's no pressure there from the team for him to be over. He knows it's done. He will have the full team behind. We did see that the team of Little Trek was well represented around Ayuso. It would have been important for Pedersen if the gap was maybe 5 or 6 minutes. It would have been important for him to get over the climb. With a gap of 1 minute 30 on 7 kilometers of climbing, he knows it's going to be difficult to maintain that pace on the peloton. So at that point, you start thinking, okay, I can't fight to the top. It's not going to work. The team is all in control. He's got everyone around him. So now I'm just going to take my time. And this is also why Aaron Brew is kind of doing the same. It's like, okay, I'm not going to go for the stage win. It's not going to happen. Now it's just about trying to get home safe.
This rider, Raul Garcia Peña, a 25-year-old rider. He's won a stage of Route Occitanie. And we're heading into Occitanie today, aren't we? He won an individual time trial. So maybe he's just got some good memories of being in the region where we finished today.
That was my only stage race victory.
Was it?
Yeah, and actually my cousin Dan won it as well, and my dad won it as well. So it's a big family thing, Route Occitanie. Route Occitanie, unfortunately, this year, and we'll talk about that later on, and hopefully we won't have to talk about that, where the last stage of the race this year was cancelled because of the heat wave. And there was a decree from the local government who said that they were going to cancel every activity, cultural and sporting activity, so even schools were closed that day. Schools are always closed on a Sunday, sorry about that. But everything was cancelled on that Sunday. But it was a pity that the day of the race was also cancelled, because they are talking that this could happen on the road to the Tour de France, so it's actually quite important news.
Do you think it's a possibility that one of the days of the Tour could be cancelled? Because the Tour doesn't really get cancelled, does it?
No, the Tour is really about show goes on. And I hope not. I hope not, because yes, on a medical part, it is true that extreme heat could be fatal. And we all know how dangerous it is to be racing in extreme heat. But I feel that if we're going to start cancelling one stage, it's going to be a big problem over the years to cancel more and more stages in the Tour de France. So I think when they cancel the first one because of a heat wave, I think we're in for a lot of troubles with bike racing, because the Vuelta is going to be the same. How do you design the Vuelta? So do you avoid the south of Spain for the rest of the Vuelta? We talked about the Vuelta changing to the month of May, but I think that's totally out of question.
Yeah.
And I think the way the climate is changing and evolving, well, I think there isn't much of a solution than the riders getting more access to water. Now they've started, the commissaires allow the feeding a lot earlier into the race. They allow more zones on the course. They allow more feeding until the end of the race, where 6-7 years ago it was you can't feed till kilometer 50 and you can't feed until kilometer 20 to the finish, and you had 3 feed zones and then maybe 1 exceptional feed zone, where thankfully all that has changed, and you're giving access to the riders to be able to feed and to hydrate, which is more important at that on a hot day like today, all day long almost.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me to limit the ability to take food and drink on board.
I always thought about when was that rule ever invented, and what was the purpose of that rule when it was invented.
Yeah, you sat round a table.
We're probably the only sport where you're not allowed to drink.
No,
it's like, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to drink, and you have to do, and 20k when it's Alpe d'Huez, it's 30 odd minutes,
Yeah.
or 40 minutes. So why was cycling not allowed to drink for the last 20 kilometers? And 20k on Alpe d'Huez is not 20k on the flat.
Team radio.
Keep your eyes open there. They can also stop behind. It's always the same rider. So don't give up.
What What are they trying to say to Alex Bourdain right now?
That the same rider, this is probably an old conversation when it was Florent Vermeesch who was riding. So basically they were saying, don't give up, the gap is probably going to slow down. It was only one rider riding, which is Florent Vermeesch.
They're not very happy with NSN here, are they?
No.
And Alex Bourdain wasn't happy with George Bennett having the car alongside him there, and the red car wasn't impressed either.
No, because you're not supposed to be able to feed at that point. You have to go at the back. You're allowed to feed on a bigger road on the side on some of the groups when it's a smaller number of riders, but not when it's a big group like this. And it's actually now Neil Politz and the whole team of UAE Emirates XRG who are taking the front of the peloton. And we did see a glance of, at the very bottom of the climb, we did see Kampenars go to the front. It looks like the team of Tadej Pogacar now are back in the front riding. Still quite a big peloton. And we see Pedersen is just about to get caught with Aramburu.
Here's our riders. Vlad van Mechelen on the front there. Number 208 behind him is Matteo Verche, the chasers, making their way up the climb. Vlad van Mechelen doing a good job here for Bahrain Victorious this afternoon. And this is our leading rider. So the two are trying to get across to Raul Garcia Peña. He takes another drink on board. Yeah, coming back to feeding and drinking, I wonder when they all sat around a table and said, let's not let the riders drink or eat. And someone said, that's a great idea. Strange. Also, whenever I see a soigneur from another team not give a bottle to a rider, I get quite annoyed. Which I don't get annoyed very often, but I just think, just help the rider out. At some point, it's going to come back and help you.
You often see solidarity happens at the back of the race.
Yes.
When the race is on, well, the race is on. And you have your team, you have your tactics. The same way that you can afford a better rider, the same way you afford more staff at the Tour de France. And this is why some of the teams sometimes would not help other riders, because like, yeah, this is part of our investment. We took the time this morning, we had a master plan and we wanted someone at that point. And we made the effort to prepare for that extra feed. So why should my tactic be an advantage to you too? So at the front of the race I understand it, but at the back of the race less and less so. But you often see these great images of solidarity where even you see riders sometimes on a rainy day coming back, crossing the line with somebody else's rain jacket from a different team because they are helping each other. Because sometimes we talked about those rain bags. Well, when the car number 2 is relaying with the breakaway and car number 1 is with your team leader, well, there's no car number 3. So sometimes you will see that the teams will help each other out and cover for each other. So for example, if one of your friends is sports director from another team, you'll say, look, I'm going back to the third gruppetto or the second gruppetto and I'll support them for 20 minutes. You look after my rider. And you'll say on the radio, look, today we'll have Movistar. They're going to help us with the feed in your group and I'll go and feed the group ahead and we'll see each other in a bit. So teams do help each other, especially on those mountain stages when there's multiple gruppettos. Because when there's bigger gruppettos, it's easier to manage all the riders and all the feeding. But when there's 3 or 4 groups on the road, then the cars will kind of swap and help each other out. Yes, yeah. So the solidarity do exist at the back of the race.
Here's the chase with Bourdain, with George Bennett, with Prodhomme. They seem to be working well. They seem to be riding strongly. It's good to see George Bennett back at the head of the Tour de France in the colours of New Zealand. He's doing a wonderful job this afternoon. Thank you to all of you for watching. There's lots of discussion about the extreme heat on my social media. At Anne McCross and at Nicholas Roach is where you can get hold of us. Nancy Talon, hello to you. Thank you for watching. Also to various others who have been watching. Anastasia Babulal also. And Kathy Buchanan, thank you very much for watching. And now totally obsessed with the Tour de France, which is great news. We like to get you to that point. That's our whole job. 3 kilometres to go to the top of the climb. There are King of the Mountains points on offer here, Nico, for the riders when they get to the top of the Col de Tosses, which is a first category climb for the riders today. 68.2 kilometres to go is the top, and this is the first big climb of this year's race, so it gives you more points than the other climbs that we've seen so far, and will help a rider think about taking the King of the Mountains jersey.
Yes, today is the first category climb of this Tour de France, and there will be 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 and 1 points. So 6 riders will get points on the top of this climb.
And in fact, when you look at it, a rider who takes the 10 points should move immediately into the King of the Mountains jersey, because Molinar's way behind the Dutch rider from Carural. He's on 5 points so far. We've seen Paris Pant go over the top and take 2 points of the first climb of the day. So this is going to secure someone King of the Mountains jersey, a very important point of today's stage.
Yes, because on the final 2 climbs there's only 2 points available because they are third category climbs.
UAE riding hard now with Niels Pollitt on the front. Pogacar in that rainbow jersey just tucked in on the wheels. Vlad van Mechelen in the front, riding his first ever Grand Tour. He's never ridden the Giro d'Italia, never ridden the Vuelta, so good to see him being given his opportunity.
And this happens more and more, doesn't it? That a young rider or a rookie will go directly into the Tour de France. Before, they always threw you at the Tour of Italy or the Tour of Spain to get the experience before you went to the Tour de France. Where now very often you see some of the teams that will directly put some of their riders in the Tour de France. Again, I think that's also due with the age of the riders, the riders performing at an earlier age, which also gives them the opportunity to go directly into the Tour de France.
Problem for Niels Pollitt.
Yeah, stopped in the middle of the bunch.
He's had to completely stop. I think he's got something in his gears again.
Looks like that, yeah.
It happened yesterday. No, he's just pulled the chain off, literally.
Chain dropped. That was the reason why he couldn't get out of the way.
Here it is again.
Oh, yeah, he did try to move out, but no, unfortunately, no, had to stop.
Nothing he could do, and he's now chasing after being the rider on the front for the last few minutes.
Be able to get back to the front now.
So it'll roll itself.
6 riders are going to go for that KOM. 2.1 kilometers still to go to the KOM.
This is a really key part of today's stage. So we've got Van Mechelen in the colours of Bahrain. We've got Raul Garcia Peña on the front there in the colours of Movistar. Matteo Verche in the white jersey of Total Energy. We've got Alex Bourdin in the pink of EF Education Easy Post. Nicola Prodom in the colours of Decathlon. And George Bennett, the Kiwi champion. Could George Bennett wear the King of the Mountains jersey in the Tour de France? This could be a big moment for New Zealand. There's Roman Gregoire not having a good moment in this race. Tends to ride out the saddle a lot, but he looks like he's suffering a little bit today. It's been a hard start to today's stage. Tiberi also on his limit at the back of this peloton. Some riders who you would have expected to see on a day like today up at the front, but they are not. They're hanging on for dear life right now. Lenny Martinez. There too. 1,800 metres.
Like, surprised and not surprised, but he's a rider, he's incredible. He can get some of the best climbers. Like, we see him follow some of the best climbers during the whole year, and then the Tour, is it the heat, is it the general speed of the day, where you see some other races during the year, for example, the flatter stages are easier. You don't have to deal with the high speed all the day, and you arrive a lot fresher at the Tour de France climb. And this is why early on in the interview with Ayuso, he says the Tour is just a different sport. And that's part of being that different sport, where you see often riders who will excel in some of the other races come to the Tour and just not be at the level of the Tour. And on the opposite, you have some riders who are more discreet all year long, who are suddenly capable of being in the breakaway every second day, or capable of managing that kind of higher level endurance all the day rather than the explosive riding of some of the other stages races.
It must really blow your morale if you're like Roman Gregoire at the back of that group right now.
I think
Mauro Schmidt goes backwards and you see Niels Pollitt just pedal past you.
I mean, he also sees Neil Pollitt on the TV for the last 5 or 6 years being with only 20 riders in the front group, so he's well used to that. And he did say today that it was going to be quite difficult. Actually, this is why he wanted to go into the breakaway. He said, I don't think, even if I took the jersey, I would, anyone wouldn't be too afraid of me because they know I'll lose it.
Mauro Schmidt waiting for the peloton to come back up and catch him. Little trek with a number of riders at the head of the race with Ayuso. This is Gregoire, he's having a bad time. Germani trying to look after him, just comes up at the right moment, just to say to him, come on, you'll be okay. The Shimano car gives a bottle, trying to just keep these riders from overcooking, because right now there is the danger of that. Another rider is dropping back through the cars. Thibaut Gernelec pulls the plug. A duck and a dinosaur at the side of the road with 1,200 metres to go. Did you see Remco Evenepoel in his ice bath with ducks yesterday?
No.
With his rubber ducks. Remco and the rubber ducks.
Is that for...
Sounds like a band.
The mental support?
I don't know.
Emotional support.
Not mental support. Emotional support.
Well, it is for the mental health, no?
Yeah, exactly. He looked like he was enjoying having some rubber ducks in his ice bath anyway.
1 kilometre to the KOM.
This is a big moment for these riders. There is a chance to be on the podium tonight. Very important for all of the riders concerned.
Yes, and they will all have the information. And it's even more important for them now because they know that the peloton's not going to give them their stage today, so they're not having to think about saving the legs for what comes after this. Their goal today now is about saving the day and not being in the front for nothing. Then
Healy's not having a good time right now. How much difference a year makes. Also going out the back, riders are really starting to suffer. Alexandra Delet now going on the front, Tim Wellens, as they really start to make life hard. This end of this stage for the next 70k is going to be brutal. You can start to sense it already. Pogačar wants a stage win. Del Toro in the green jersey pedaling along as though it's just an afternoon ride.
Wellens doing a good job there at the front of the peloton. 148 is the gap.
Ben O'Connor's cracking now as well. In all sorts of difficulty, Ben O'Connor is going out the back. He cracks. The heat is intense. The pace has been rapid, and the Tour de France right now is heading towards the King of the Mountains points. Bourdin is looking strong. He's making everybody apart from Prudhomme hurt. Raul Garcia's head going metronomic side to side in time with the cadence of the pedals. George Bennett on the back. Can New Zealand have a King of the Mountains tonight? Because Bennett's one of the best climbers, but he looks like he's on his limit as well. Bourdin is making everybody really struggle. 500 metres to go.
He's still pushing on and doesn't mind having all the riders in his wheel. A lot of fans on the side of the road, not giving the riders a lot of space to go and compete for that KOM.
Well, we were expecting that we wouldn't have so many fans at the side of the road, but with 40k to go, it will start to calm down, I'm sure. Riders going out the back. Vauquelin's had enough as well. He's starting to suffer. He's not having a good Tour de France so far, Vauquelin. It's not going the way you would have expected. Bourdin is 350 metres from the top. Prudhomme gets set in second place to try and take the King of the Mountains points. They're going to swap a jersey for the polka dots. 280 metres. Bennett's looking for a way through here.
Not much space.
I don't know if he's got the legs to go.
I thought they had the cables the last 500 meters some of the other years, didn't
They
they?
do on the big climbs, but not on these little ones.
First cat.
Oh yeah, it's the first cat climb. Maybe it should
There's
have.
the KOM.
There's hardly any space. Here's the king of the mountains. Prodom and Bourdain at the front. Bourdain ups the tempo a little bit more. He's really making everyone suffer. Look at Verchet out the saddle, sprinting for all he's worth. Alex Bourdain checks over his shoulder, and he's going to be in the polka dots.
Good riding by them there, just in the front, making sure he could totally control everything till the line in between the crowds. We don't go down straight away. We have about 3.5, 4 kilometers on this plateau. And then we'll get to the town of the climb of La Molina, go down the ski station, all the way into the valley then, and Alp.
It's all going on now. An attack at the back here from Carreral. Big move on the climb. 1:27 to the peloton. Can the breakaway stay away? Do you think? You think the peloton's going to catch them?
Peloton's going to catch them. I've been thinking that before the start.
You have. You've thought it all day. Everybody said a breakaway. Nico went completely opposite. We thought at the start it was about 50-50, but Nico's thoughts on the stage look to be coming true now. Big move now as riders try and get across. 67.4 kilometers to go. Over the top of the climb. Where's the peloton? There it is. On the back of the group, Tom Scoynes. So UAE Team Emirates XRG in the yellow helmets lead over the top, really making life difficult for the rest of this peloton. There are riders literally sprinting over the top. Martinez is the third from last rider in the group. Scoynes looks around to see if there's anybody there, and the answer is there's no one there. He's got to try desperately to just stay in the wheels, and he just has to sit up, and he's over the top of the climb. That's how hard it is today.
Yes, because this is the moment where the speed goes up. And this is why he really gave everything, because he knows that if he's in the slipstream, he has a chance. But if he doesn't close the gap, that's it. As you can see, it's not totally going down yet. There'll be another 3 to 4 kilometers like this. Kind of slight plateau.
Front group of riders. 6 of them. Van Mechelen, Raul Garcia Peña, Mateo Verchet, Bourdain, Prodom and George Bennett. That is the head of the race. Over the top then, the Nuria Sanctuary, constructed between 1883 and 1911. It's been occupied since the Middle Ages. The basilica was consecrated in 1911. It's right in a glacial valley. And there's a statue of the Virgin of Nuria dated from the 12th or 13th century. We're heading down now towards La Molina, one of the famous places of Volta Catalunya. We've tackled it pretty much every year since 2003. Featured on the route of the 2025 Vuelta. The climb we've just gone over. And La Molina has hosted some Women's Alpine Skiing World Cups and also the World Snowboard Championships in 2011. When we get here normally in Volta Catalunya, you ride right up to the edge of the piste, don't you? And there's normally still snow there at that time of the year. Taking a little look at some statistics now. The average speed of Alex Bourdain on the Col de Tosses was 23.2 kilometers. It's a pretty fast climb, that. Michael Storer just been caught now by the peloton, having dropped back. There's my chances of winning today gone.
That's true, that was your pick.
It was my pick of the day. I thought he'd lost 17 minutes and all he was worried about was today, but it's not going to happen now. Tim Wellens on the front, UAE making life difficult. Tadej Pogačar is the rider who is in second place overall at 6 seconds. Remco Evenepoel at 15 seconds in the general classification. Right, what's coming up next? We're going to head to the next climb. How's the terrain between here and the Col de Calvaire?
So they're still on this plateau for a little bit, and then they will start descending the Col of La Molina, going through the town of La Molina. They'll have to be cautious, there is a tunnel there as well. They will go all the way down to the town of Alp, and that will be at 50 kilometers to go. From Alp, they will go through the town of Bixerda, which is the main town of this area of La Sardagna. And then once they go through this town of Bixerda, will be 44 kilometers to go. We'll start going to the town of Urs. And from there, we're going to start a very long climb called the Calvaire. Was it almost 12 kilometers? 11.4 kilometers at 4.1%. It's going to be a big road like this. It's not the most difficult climb. It just drags on and on and on and on, almost 12 kilometers of climbing. They will go through the town of Font-Romeu. We talked about Font-Romeu earlier on, where the French national ski biathlon team used to go and train. But also Sylvain Chavanel was famous for having a place there. He was actually at the hotel we were staying yesterday. And he was coming to work on the tour next week. Give him a quick hello. And then we stay on the plateau for a bit of a short descent, beautiful descent. You'll see the scenery, we reckoned that this morning. And then we'll get to the last part of the race, drop down to the lake, turn left and start going up to Les Angles. And then at 1.7 kilometers to go, the road steepens up to the finish line. That'll average about 7%, 6.5% exactly.
Jonas Aguirre on the back of the group, just shaking the legs. Down towards La Molina now. You'll recognise this descent if you've watched Volta Catalunya before. It is rapid. You get down towards the tunnel, you have to be very careful through the tunnel. Sometimes a bit of water in it. And if you come to the Tour de France, we've just got a quick message for you to think about.
Ah non, c'est pas le moment. Non, c'est vraiment pas le moment.
Being thrown off in the middle of concentrating. You wouldn't like that, would you? Riders wouldn't either.
If you come to the race, then respect the riders. They love having fans at the side of the road, but don't affect the race in any way. 61 kilometres of racing to go, and UAE are the riders still on the front of this peloton. They have been for a long time. If you've just joined us now, we have a breakaway group of riders who have been on the attack for a lot of today. Here's Alex Bourdin going over the top to clinch the 10 points. It's a very important part of today's stage. If things go as we think, then he will be in the polka dot jersey, because it's looking more likely that the peloton is going to catch this breakaway. But you never know. Alex Bourdin has won from a breakaway before stages of races, so it would be interesting to see whether he can go all the way to the finish with the rest of his breakaway companions. Bennett is in here for New Zealand, Nicola Prodom, Vlad van Mechelen, Raul Garcia, Matteo Verche. Confirmation then that Bourdin took 10 points, Prodom took 8, Raul Garcia Peña 6, Van Mechelen for Bennett sitting on the back. Didn't look like he was worried about that King of the Mountains jersey, which is on offer today, because the current King of the Mountains is a long way out of the back of the race. Almost at La Molina Tunnel. Today, Jonas Vingegaard is in the Maillot Jaune, the yellow jersey, the 72nd time that Denmark takes the jersey. They're only one short now of Switzerland, which occupies the 9th all-time spot. Last time a Swiss rider was in yellow was on the second stage of 2015. It was Fabian Cancellara who set up the Tudor Pro Cycling team that we saw Michael Storer in the breakaway from earlier on today. Yesterday was the first time ever that Del Toro, Pogacar and Remco Evenepoel shared a top three in any professional race that they have ridden. Jonas Vingegaard's 29th Maillot Jaune of his career. All the speed bumps as we work our way down here. He's now in the top 14 places in terms of Maillot Jaune. He's too short of René Vietto, and he reached Fabian Cancellara's total of 14 yellow jerseys yesterday. Tadej Pogacar continues to move up through the record books. He posted his 41st top three stage finish at the Tour yesterday, moving past Charles Pellessier and Francois Faber. His next target will be Gustave Garrigou at 42, with a 10th all-time place in the ranking of top three stage finishes in the Tour de France. We're heading down now towards the bottom of this climb. We're going to reach the bottom of the next col at 35 kilometres to go. Two more cols remain on today's stage. The average speed has been very, very high, considering we're on a mountain stage of the race on day number 3. Average speed is hovering around 42 kilometres an hour as things stand. 1:30, 1:29. Riders have to be a little bit careful over these speed bumps now because they're going at such a high speed. But we're going to hear now from the yellow jersey. Let's hear now from Jonas Vingegaard.
It's a hard stage overall, but the final climb are maybe not the hardest. But you see still some movement in the GC?
Well, I mean, it's a very short, very explosive climb again. So, yeah, I think for sure there will be a sprint to the finish, that's for sure.
We have seen yesterday, not that we were surprised, but UAE playing on Tadej and Isaac. We know there's also Davide Piganzoli in the team. Could you try to play on that as well?
Well, I think Davide already lost a bit of time, so it will be hard for us to play that card as well. So, of course, we have to think about what we can do strategically, but yeah.
Thank you very much.
1:27. UAE yesterday with their tactics, and now having Del Toro looking so strong. Do you think Wiesma might be a little concerned about the way that they can play their cards as the race continues?
We know Isaac Del Toro is strong for the last 3 years. Everything is planned.
So they've thought about all those scenarios?
100%.
I wonder how they outdo this team now, because yesterday just showed how strong they are yet again.
Yes, and I think the interviewer didn't ask the right question, because I don't think they played Del Toro yesterday. Going for the stage the way they did it was not really playing with Del Toro. Playing with Del Toro is to send them in the breakaway on one of the mountain stages. That's playing with Del Toro. What happened yesterday was a race circumstance where Del Toro did a massive lead out, opened up a gap, and Tadej decided to give the victory to Del Toro. but he's not really using Del Toro as a strategic card. Yesterday he was doing a lead out and happened to win.
Yes.
What is 100% sure is they will use Del Toro later on in the Tour de France to be able to create a position where Vingegaard will have to ride or isolate him. But as I mentioned, Visma Leasebike is a team that has won the Tour de France. They have riders on their roadsters that are capable of climbing with the best as well, with Sepkus, with Jorgensen. So I think when you go to the Tour de France and you say you're here to win the Tour de France, you plan your team accordingly. So no, they're not surprised. They know Isaac Del Toro. You know Isaac Del Toro. All the fans know Isaac Del Toro. So we all know he's strong.
Do you think there's the lineup, that little line of showing you where all the troops of UAE are. Do you think there comes a scenario, though, at some point in the race where Vingegaard has to choose who does he chase? And actually, UAE could eventually see that Del Toro wins the Tour rather than Pogacar wins the Tour, or that scenario would never happen.
I still think Tadej wants to win.
Yeah.
I still think, I mean, as much as he led the win yesterday in the sprint, I still think that in Paris,
yes,
Tadej wants to be the boss and get his fifth Tour de France.
But what happens if you're in a valley in week 3 and the gap is still between the three of them is, I'm just surmising as to what might happen. The gap's still 2 minutes and Del Toro attacks and Jonas looks at Tadej.
And a group of how many riders? Remco's going to be there. Remco will close the gap.
Okay.
Sexas will be
3
there.
riders.
Sexas will close the gap.
Will be there, yes.
Scale Moser is going to be there.
Right.
What about Ayuso? Ayuso is going to be there.
And what does
Remember,
Tadej do?
it's 20 odd teams. It's not just Pogacar versus Vingegaard. There's all these other riders who might not be there at the level of Vingegaard and Tadej Pogacar, but will have an incidence on the race. Because they will see an opportunity to move from 5th to 3rd, or from 8th to 6th. So there's races between races, and although Isaac Del Toro might attack at some point, it doesn't mean that Vingegaard has to be the one that closes. Maybe Scale Moser wants to go because he thinks he can win the stage if he catches him.
So Vingegaard can play his cards based on the other riders as well and say, okay, well, I'm prepared to let Remco go up the road with Del Toro. Tadej, you want to win this Tour, you need to do something about it because 100%. Del Toro's up the road now.
100%. This is why it's always complicated, and it doesn't mean you have 2 top riders. It's always an advantage to have it on their side, and we've seen it in the past. We have Del Toro now since this year. We've had Yates in the past. We've had teams where they were also in the years of Quintana and Valverde, for example. They were 2nd and 3rd in the Tour one year. We've had the years of Team Sky when they had Froome and Geraint Thomas, or Froome and Bradley Wiggins. So, of course, having 2 of the top riders is an advantage, but it's more an advantage, I think, when things go wrong. I think that's when you're isolated and you're sure that you have an extra rider to be there to help you when things go wrong. That's where I see more the advantage than to use them specifically to challenge the other riders. Of course it's going to happen. Of course at some point Isaac Del Toro might attack and force the reaction of Vingegaard. It's expected. We all know at some point in the race this is going to happen. But I don't think is as dramatic as what people are saying because of the reaction, because it's not just 2 riders in the peloton.
Okay, let's think about, because we've got time before we get to the next climb of the day. Is there a scenario, and remember now, your QR code, vote for the rider of the day on the right-hand side, scan the QR code and vote for the rider you think.
For 20 kilometers still you have, I think it closes at kilometer 30, correct?
Yep, you do. So scan that now and vote for your rider of the day. Do we have a scenario ever in this team where you have a Chris Froome, Bradley Wiggins scenario on a mountain?
I think things are clear. And the same way Chris Froome had to wait for Bradley Wiggins on La Toussuire, I think it was. I think Isaac Del Toro will have to wait for Tadej Pogacar.
So that's already agreed, already played out. The team will have spoken about it.
I mean, there is a reason why yesterday Del Toro fell in tears and said thank you. because it's not expected. That was the first word when Tadej Pogacar goes to give him a hug. There's one word that comes out of his outlet tour was thank you, and he's in tears.
Because he didn't expect to win a stage.
No. Well, not yesterday anyway.
No, sure.
They might have planned for later on in one of the more mountain stages.
Yeah.
But you know, there's one thing about cycling that I always appreciated is the uncertainty. You can plan 1,000 scenarios. Everything is possible. Maybe the scenario of having the 3 riders in the front that you just mentioned is possible. Most likely not.
But it
might be.
It's been a while. We haven't had a Vingegaard kiss for a while, have we?
We got a Remco kiss instead today. But that's one thing that I think our sport is so special is anything can happen. There's so many uncertainties about rather shape, there's so many things about the heat, there's so many things about tactics, about crashes, but also other teams that influence your own tactics all the time. It's just, this is why it's a hard business being in the sports directors' cars, and it's easy for us from our TV to commentate, and I've been sometimes quite hard on some of the sports directors' decisions, but they have to react so quickly, and it's constantly changing. You could work months on a master plan, and things go out the window for a puncture.
Yeah, exactly.
Or for a crash. We talked about it yesterday with Astana, who worked months, who specifically invested on that team time trial. Next thing, 4 of them come down 10 minutes into the team time trial.
Yeah, you can plan for everything, but you probably need to plan that the plan won't come together.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it.
EF. That's more down. I mean, I just want to be clear on the King of the Mountains. There is a chance he won't be in the King of the Mountains jersey. A slim chance if Nicola Prodom wins the stage. But that's about it.
Ah, yes. True. Because he will take...
He would take 2 points. That would be 10. And because he wins the stage, that would be it. But it's unlikely.
But if they will have to battle the 3rd category time as well.
Yes. But the chances are this peloton is closing in so fast. Let's see what happens. But right now, he's the virtual yellow, and he's the virtual King of the Mountains. And he's having a great day out. Let's take a look at some statistics. His average speed on the climb, 23.2. His maximum speed, 91.7. And averaged over 60k an hour on that descent.
It's a fast descent, big roads, lots of room there to carry the speed.
But he knows this is a chance, doesn't he? You can see the way he's trying to drive this breakaway on and get them involved, push on and try and take the stage. And every now and then it kind of goes back in their favour a little bit. 141 is back in their favour.
There's also the way of thinking that you kind of wish that the further in the stage you go, the smaller the peloton is. So sometimes, although you know the stage could be lost, you kind of hope that they had a big battle behind and only 20 riders come back onto you, and not the whole peloton. Team radio.
Team, now you just as long as possible. As long as possible. Don't go too deep. As long as possible. It's still far away to go.
Good BSing there again, management, because as I mentioned early on, when you have to go and close the gap, when these riders really go for it, that minute can go drop down in literally a handful of kilometers. So the idea of using Tim Mullins as far as you can, and they probably might have him still at the bottom of the next climb of the Col de Calvaire, is to make sure you don't use the other riders before their time. And you have now this all couple of kilometers into the town of Picture that we just see there in the backdrop.
Doesn't help the breakaway, does it, this road?
No.
Long straight roads, Roman roads that the riders are racing on now, as they can't hide from anybody. Also means the heat is really intense. 1 kilometre between the groups. Here's Remco Evenepoel, wearing number 21. Eyes down the back as always. Still looks pretty cool, calm and collected. Doesn't look like he's under any pressure at all. And Wellens being told not to go too deep. I don't know if he knows how to not hurt himself. He He rides incredibly, doesn't he? The rest of the team, there'll be a point where he says that's enough, and he'll cool over and someone else will take over the pacemaking from him. Tadej literally all the time takes a bottle, pours it over his head, over his shoulders, takes a drink, puts it back. That's the thing he's doing all of the time. Here's our breakaway group of riders. We've probably got a little bit of time to go through a few more teams. We've got 9k to the bottom of the climb, then I think we'll really focus on the race. That was a well-known person in a Shimano car, Henrik Redant, famous pro rider, and also was sports director in loads of different teams. More known as a classics rider than anything else. I once shared a room with him in the Tour of Beijing. It's a week I will never forget. He's larger than life. He's hilarious. Right, Jaco Alula. They've got their sports directors Matt Hayman and Steve Cummings, a stage winner in the Tour de France. Matt Hayman, winner of Paris-Roubaix. They've got Ben O'Connor, Pascal Ackermann, Luke Durbridge, German champion Felix Engelhardt, Michael Matthews, Kel O'Brien, Luke Plapp and Mauro Schmidt.
Well, a week before the Tour de France, I would have said GC with Ben O'Connor, but I do think they will go for the breakaways. We've seen them very active in the breakaways at the start of this race, and I think they're going to continue going that way. We have Michael Matthews who's probably going to go into the sprints. They're going to help their Ackermann in the sprints as well, although he's always been around that 4th, 5th place, but I think between Michael Matthews in those, again, third week breakaways, giving a hand to Ackermann in the flatter stages, and then their climbers for the breakaways as they go into France.
First 6 riders enter France. Bourdin leads, a Frenchman on French roads on stage 3 of the Tour de France. Now they need to settle in and really see if they can open up this gap. Bennett goes through to the front and puts on a massive amount of pressure to see if he can keep this going. Still a big crowd.
Yes, I mean, most people would going through quite a big town. What's for sure is that I have view on the last couple of 100 meters of the finish line, and there are no fans.
It's going to be a really strange finish, isn't it? It's going to be almost a COVID years or tweeted on finish. It's going to be silent. It's going to be really unusual. But it's to protect this area.
Yeah, I think I think it was something you mentioned. I don't know if we said it on air or just the two of us chatting. It was recommended and reinforced not to come, but it was not illegal to come. So what they did is they filtered, but obviously if you're staying in your holiday home just here in Cookshirda, you're not going to stay just locked up in the balcony.
No.
And that was not going to happen. What they were trying to avoid is the movement of people coming up, and obviously banning all these barbecues and the side road kind of festivals and picnics.
It makes sense. The Tour de France, as I said earlier, doesn't really stop. Of course, it stopped in the World Wars, but that was about it. But in normal circumstances, the Tour de France always runs. This is Harold Tejada, that we spoke about a little while ago. He's having a wheel change. Our next team to just quickly talk about, Uno X Mobility. They've got Tobias Johannesson, who's finished 6th in the Tour, Jonas Abramson, Anton Charmik, Magnus Kort, Hannes Johannesson, Hannes Skarsaith, Torsten Train, and Soren Varenskjold.
I think they will have a go at GC, aiming for top 10, I would say, with Johannesson. I also believe that Varenskjold is going to have a go at the sprints. And then we'll have the typical attacks of the rest of the team. We've seen it's a team that do like to go into the breakaways. They are a team that try and animate the race as much as they can. So I think we'll see a lot of them at the front of the race in those breakaways, especially on kind of more flatter rolling stages.
Well, let's see how they do. On the back, Simone Velasco, still struggling after his crash of the day number 1. NSN cycling team. They've got Biniam Girmay, Lewis Askey, George Bennett, Marco Frigo, Mathis Louvel, Chris Neelands, Jake Stewart and Tom Van Asbrook.
I would say the green jersey with Biniam Girmay and breakaways. I was trying to see if anyone might go for the GC, but I'm not convinced. I think they have strong breakaway riders, classic riders, fast riders, and I think they'll make the most of those medium mountains and flatter stages.
And then we've got the team of Movistar, Keanu Brooks, Pablo Castrillo, Jefferson Sabeda, Raul Garcia, Peña, Michel Hessman, Nelson Oliveira, Javier Romo and Aina Rubio, as we just see Brandon McNulty get going again.
Well, a couple of days ago, the same I would have thought that the Brooks was their GC goal, and not looking great for him at the moment. But I do think Movistar is also a team that likes to go into the breakaways. They have a lot of those very similar style riders, very punchy riders. No one really capable of winning from the GC group, but a lot of riders capable of being in that group of 20-25 riders in those breakaways. And I don't know what just happened there.
McNulty having
flat.
Yeah. Yeah, their riders are all pretty similar, aren't they? In many ways.
So they'll be more into the, like today, the medium mountain stages. It feels hard to say medium mountain stage when there's almost 4,000 meters of climbing. But what I meant is there's no 25k kilometer climbs or the Tourmalet or whatever, but because today in terms of the altimeters, we are on a proper mountain stage. In terms of racing, I don't think it's considered, and actually even the Tour has classified it as a class 3 rather than a class 1 for the big mountain stages.
Looking at the time of Arnaud Delis at 27 minutes 30, how tight is it coming? We'll just hear from EF.
Alex, you're still working against Wellens alone, okay? It's not easy for him, it's very hot in this section again, okay? Stay cool, keep drinking, keep...
Again, the information, keep going, still one rider in the back there from riding in the front of the peloton, so it's literally at the moment those 6 riders versus 1, and the gap is quite stable.
How important is it for a rider to hear that? Tom Southam just giving him that information from the team card, to know that it's just one rider on the front.
It means that they don't need to change their pace, and that's important information. If you know that, oh, the race is on at the back and they're coming back, well, there's 2 options, is or you give it all, or you sit up. When you know you're still one rider, and you're minute 30, this information means it's still 6 versus 1. We still have the chance of going another 10-15 kilometers. And like I said, sometimes, even though they know the breakaway win could be over, but when the breakaway comes, the further in the stage, well, the less rider there is. So you might have a chance of a result, especially if they get over this climb. The second part is less trickier, part of the final 2 kilometers. So if they get away with getting over the last second climb, well, they can hang in that group for a while.
Well, let's see how it goes. Good information from the sports director to just explain how things are going. As a rider in the breakaway, you have no idea what's going on behind. You have to rely on your sports director all of the time to give you that information so that it motivates you. Niels Pollitt, Brandon McNulty is going back into the group. But Pollitt looks like he's had enough now.
Looks like he'd had enough, yeah. I did think that he might, that he was just back there from that group and he might just go straight to the front to give 1 or 2 pull for Tim Willens. But I also think now they're going closer and closer to that climb of Urs, and by the time he gets to the front, there'll be time for him to swing off. And there's Tim Willens.
Wellens pulling all sorts of faces right now. Tadej Pogačar, it's like a ritual. Bottle out, across the head, round the shoulders, down the legs, drink, put it back. So practiced. Welcome along to stage 3 of this year's tour. I'm Anthony McCroston, alongside me is Nicholas Roach. Let's take a look back at what's happened so far. 195.9 kilometres of racing so far to Les Angles. It's been an all-out racing day. Earlier on, Arnaud Delis was dropped from the peloton, again still suffering with sickness. Baptiste Weisstroffer, his teammate, looking after him. There was a crash on the run into one of the climbs. Bruno Amirai was the most injured rider, had to have a little bit of treatment back at the doctor's car. Still, the breakaways continued. Over the top of the first climb of the day, it was Valentin Barry-Plant who was the rider who secured the 2 points at the top of the climb. Lenny Martinez had a little bit of a meltdown in the heat at one point as he waited for his team car. And constant breakaways tried to go away for nearly an hour and a half. Up in the front, there was a large group of riders that formed, included Mads Pedersen, who's looking for the green jersey points of this race. They worked well together towards the intermediate sprint at Camp de Vanol. At one point there were 18 riders in the breakaway. We went through the intermediate sprint. Mads Pedersen was not challenged in any way. He took the 25 points. Romain Gregoire has had a few difficult moments in the race. The French champion, Ben Healy, has also been dropped. Alex Bourdin went over the top of the King of the Mountains to take the 10 points. And as things stand, we have a group of riders who are still away. 6 riders: Bourdin, Prudhomme, Van Mechelen, Bennett, Garcia Pena and Verchet. Those riders are in France now, in Occitanie, and heading towards the conclusion of today's stage. It's a big stage, 3,850 metres of climbing in 195.9 kilometres. In the yellow jerseys, Jonas Vingegaard. In green is Isaac Del Toro, yesterday's stage winner. Alex Molinar's the king of the mountains, but he's a long way back. And the white jersey being worn by the Lidl Trek rider, Juan Ayuso. Well, job done. Tim Wellens pulls the plug and says that's enough now. I can't do any more pacemaking in today's stage.
Yeah, that's a job done there for Tim Wellens. As we hit the climb of Col du Calvaire.
The lower slopes of this climb coming up. So as far as the run into the finish is concerned, we've got this climb, and then we've got the climb to the conclusion of the stage. Prudhomme keen to push on, wearing number 57. Wellens out the back. Let's take a look at the 3D profile. Nico, there's where Arnaud Delis is.
Yes, about 20 minutes down. Long way down the valley. This is the other gruppetto with Tim Merlier, which I think was around, well, that's it, 18 minutes down. Arnaud Delis 28 minutes down. Lost a lot of time, and they had up the race there with Tadej Pogacar's group. And Col du Calvaire, where they will go. This is all the top there into Font-Romeu. Those are the 2 climbs. There's another little ski station, long descent through the forest, beautiful road. Turn left, up this little valley, down around the lake of Les Angles, turn left, up, and they start slightly dragging up into the town of Les Angles, kicks up slightly until you turn right, and then you have 1.7 kilometers at 6.5%, but all through the town, all slightly drags up, about 3-4%. Not a big climb, but you are pushing on the pedals all the way up. There's no time to rest.
So it's 6.5% as an average gradient, but are there steep slopes in it?
Just going through the town, there is 1 or 2 ramps. You do go through the actual city centre or of the town, and it gets narrow and it goes left, it goes right. Positioning is going to be key as they go through the town of Les Angles. And then just as they go out to that main little town centre, they're back on the bigger road, and then past where you parked this morning to take the ski lift. I'm sure you enjoyed that.
I enjoyed the ski lift. It
And
was
then
great.
turn right, 1.7k to go. And then from there on, it's a bit steeper in between the houses up to here the bottom of one of the ski slopes.
There's nothing like a morning ski lift, is there? Absolutely beautiful morning, blue sky, nice fresh air. Sat there and just made sure I didn't drop my rucksack.
Actually, it was fresh this morning when we left.
It must have been. You went really early. But it warmed up quick, I'm sure. King of the Mountains is at nearly 19 minutes now. The lead coming up to the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, it's looking very difficult there for the lead. You only can afford to lose about 13 minutes. It was a bit over 40 minutes is the time cut from under there. I was trying to estimate earlier on.
It's really tough for him to make it inside this time cut now.
I think so, unless they may extend it because of the extreme heat or the difficulty of the stage. Or unless I got my calculations totally wrong. This is just estimation because the calculations are obviously done coming into the finish because they are based on the average speed. And I had based my average speed calculations on a 5-hour race and 41 per hour.
George Bennett pushes on a little bit.
Starting to open up a few gaps there, or is it just playing around?
Yeah, Bennett and Bourdin are starting to really mix things up a little bit. George Bennett looking for a team car. He puts his hand up as they go round that corner.
11.4 kilometers to the top.
Here's the vital statistics then of this climb. The Col de Calvaire, 11.4 kilometres, 4.1% is average gradient. Very important now for the breakaway to try and consolidate its lead and not see what happened yesterday, where the breakaway was literally caught on the climb by just the momentum of the peloton behind. They closed to what, 25 seconds by the top? They're working well. They've done a great job to be out here in this heat, this intensity. But let's just see whether it's a possibility of going all the way to the finish. Out of these riders, to me, the riders who look best, Bourdin looks superb still. Bennett looks a little bit ragged. Raul Garcia Pena looks a little bit ragged as well. I think Bourdin is the rider who looks the most fresh in this group. Maybe Prudhomme as well.
Yeah, I would have said both riders actually. Prudhomme is doing less work, but it's hard to understand if it's because he's trying to be smart or because he's trying to say because he's actually not as strong as Bourdin. 1 minute 20, the gap to the peloton.
We'll find out soon enough if Nicolas Prudhomme wins the stage, manages to hold off this peloton. Couple of quick mentions as we make our way onto the climb. Kevin Holliday, happy birthday to your brother-in-law Alex, 78th birthday today. Barbara will also be watching, so happy birthday, Alex.
Oh, there goes the attack, Bourdin, and no reaction from the riders.
That's a big move by Alex Bourdin. He looked fresh. He's decided to go. And Bourdin likes a solo breakaway. He's quite happy to take matters into his own hands.
Yeah, and to be honest, the way the profile of this race is done, he's better off doing his own thing. 11.5 kilometers if the other rider's not committing or as strong as he is. I think that's his only chance to continue in the lead and extend that the lead or to go further along the stage. Seems the wind has picked up a little bit, but I don't know if it's just the helicopter flying low there. Attack totally on the other side of the road. No reaction from any rider at all. Just looking at each other.
Bourdin is now committed. There's the attack.
And really attack like they teach you when you're in cycling school, from the back and across the road.
Yep, don't let anyone get on your wheel.
We often see attacks now a little bit everywhere in the group, from the front, from the middle, but I remember when I was a kid, that was one of the things that they teach you, is you have to kind of drop back, be at the back of the group, and one big attack and go in the diagonal, across the road. It's just like seeing a textbook attack from a school book.
It was perfect.
Prudhomme's coming back extremely quick there. Good effort.
Yeah, Prudhomme looks very, very good, doesn't he, as he pedals his way back. Bourdin is 25 years of age, comes from Albertville in the Alps, a really strong climber. Let's see if he can get himself with Prudhomme now up the road, and one of them to take a stage win. Prudhomme took a stage of the Giro d'Italia in his career in 2025, so he's already tasted success as a rider in a Grand Tour. He's got a contract with Decathlon CMA CGM to the end of 2028. 6 wins in his career so far. 1 World Tour victory in the Giro d'Italia, the rest of them in smaller races, but he has won in Route Occitanie. He won stage 3 to Lutz Ardiden when he took the victory of Route Occitanie. He won the final general classification, beating, interestingly, Davide Piganzoli into 2nd place. And that was a race on the final day to Saint-Giron. 2025, Prudhomme was the winner of Route Occitanie, so we may well know some of these roads. Bourdin on the front, Prudhomme 2nd place. Decathlon CMA CGM going for a stage victory here. 118 now, the gap.
And the gap is still quite stable, about 120, 130. They've opened up a good gap now, 20 seconds with that group of that chasing group. And the climb's all like this, all this kind of 2-lane road, that kind of gradient. It flattens out at some point when you go through a little town, but apart from that, it's just very, very, very steady slope.
I would imagine the riders will be happy to get this stage over with. It's been so hot and such hard racing right from the start.
Yes, and actually, when you're a rider in the peloton, it's a little bit of a boring stage, because nothing's happening, and it's not one of those big stages where you are suffering for an hour to go up to Tourmalet, and then next thing you have a 45-minute descent into the valley, and you have the adrenaline kicking in on the descent. This was just a long, long, long grit and ground stage, and you're just sitting on the wheel, and if you don't have the legs, you're popped. And if not, you have to hang in there, and you're just hanging in, and you know it might all be done on the final 2 kilometers of today's stage, like most of the days, but you don't have to do 4,000 meters before that. And in the peloton, actually, these stages are very wearing down mentally, because you're just constantly focused, as we have the team radio.
That sounds to be like Tadej.
Yeah, I think so.
Talking to the team and saying thank you very much for their work, which they'll appreciate. Nice to have your team leader just acknowledge the amount of work you've done. It's not taken for granted, is it? That they just sit on the front and that's it. Prudhomme is up the road. Pigancha sitting behind Isaac Del Toro. These 2 riders just spinning away. Adam Yates, as usual, in a massive gear. Out the saddle, rolling it over. Such a different style, isn't it? But one that works.
Definitely works for him.
But isn't it strange that he comes from a track background? And
everything's about being seated.
Yeah, everything's about being seated and spinning and everything. And both him and Simon in his career rode big gears, just rolling them over, nice and steady, looks comfortable. It's almost like a weight training style on the bike. But it works and it's really effective. You rode bigger gears, didn't you?
Yeah, I was also a lot out of the saddle. I struggle with understanding how riders can push so much power at 100 cadence. And also, again, when I was riding, we were told that higher cadence also means that you're consuming a lot more oxygen and glycogen. So this is why having a high cadence didn't make always sense, that around 80, 85 was more than enough. And when I see some riders, like for example, Felix Gall, I'm like, I'd be out of breath to do 1 kilometer at Felix Gall's cadence. But obviously, you also see now a lot of the riders are using more and more high cadence.
This is Paul Sexas.
All bandaged up.
Yeah, both elbows. At some point, he's going to have no bandages left.
10 minutes with him.
Let's hope he can get those bandages off soon. Tishbanu seems to be the rider who's riding with him most of the time. Still 7k, 7.7k to go to the top of this mountain.
Still quite a big bunch, probably around just over 50 riders.
Arnold Delis now at 30 minutes. There's going to be a call soon, isn't there? For Weistroffer, if he's got any energy left to try and make the time limit. They wouldn't want to lose 2 riders on one day.
No, and it'd be a pity for the Tour de France rookie to go home in that condition. I feel really sorry for him.
Yeah, I would definitely.
There's the climb. What I really enjoy about these valleys is they're so open. When we go into the Alps and the higher mountains, sometimes it feels like you're losing daylight. And when you're riding at the bottom of the top of the valleys are beautiful. You go through some of the most amazing sceneries. But when you're at the bottom of the valley, it just looks dark and grey. Where this valley, just look how open this valley is. It's so beautiful, so much light.
We just went past the solar park, which is up there on the top of the mountain. Nico was talking about rookies. There's 50 rookies in the race this time. They include Del Toro, Sexas, Josh Tarling, Tiberi, Olav Koy, Riccitello, and others. So some names we're well used to hearing about, but 50 of them are the riders who are taking their debut. Nico, we're nearly at the top of the climb. I think it's time to think about dinner.
I was wondering if you were not hungry today.
I am starving, that's why I've not talked to you about it.
So, let me go and reach for my notes.
Bourdin and Prodhomme, the 2 riders on the attack.
So because tomorrow we are still close enough to Les Angles, I kind of left this part for tomorrow. And I focused on where, well, 80 to 90% of the stage was done, which was the Gironès area and the area of Puigcerdà, which was the big Spanish town just before the French border. So one of the signature dishes they have here of the Sardinia region is the tringsat, and that's made from potatoes, cabbages, and pork, or bacon. It's mashed all together and pan-fried until very crispy. That sounds very much like a winter skiing dish, not much like a 40-degree cycling trip.
No, not at all.
The tiro and naps, again sorry for my Catalan accent, a traditional winter stew of duck with turnips and especially associated with this region of La Sardinia.
That's quite heavy too.
That's quite heavy, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this as well. The gargoles a la Iona, which is grilled or oven roast snails, typically served with garlic oil or spicy sauce.
Wow, that's rich as well.
It's rich as well. The scudella I carn d'ola, which is a earthy Catalan soup and boiled meat dish, especially popular in the colder months. Once again, we are in the ski areas, high up in the mountains. The local fouette or yangonissa, which is a mountain ham.
Okay.
And obviously, again, being in the mountains, a lot of goat cheese. In season, it's very popular to go and find wild mushrooms that they often use for dishes, stew, or grills. And around here, you're also quite famous for the grilled lamb or beef from the Pyrenees mountain. Yesterday, well, we're still in Catalonia, well, until the finish.
Yeah.
But obviously, again, the crema catalana But they also have a local pastry here called coca, which is a sweet, savoury Catalan flatbread.
That's good. That would be tasty.
And they do a sweet wine as well.
So lots to think about, but some of it's pretty hefty food.
Yes, and again, we're quite high up in the mountains, and there's not much veggies around here. Everything is quite soupy and warm dishes, a lot of meat.
Sounds tasty though, nonetheless. And for anyone who's watching and wants to make it, then just note it down and have a Tour de France dinner tonight. And you can follow along every day for 3 weeks. There's the peloton. They're not far behind now, are they? As they just came round that corner, they are close to the back of the chasing group of riders. And Nico's prediction of today's stage is starting to play out. It's a very small peloton now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gone from the valley road to the 5k to go mark of this climb. It's kind of been quite reduced. In the guards there with 4 riders in total in the team of his Melissa bike. Tom Pickup looking okay there.
He looks fine, doesn't he? We haven't seen him all day today. We finally get a chance to see him. He's
with him.
sitting a little far
back, yeah. There, Woody won Bernal.
I wonder whether Pidcock's just taking the pressure off himself. The way he's riding, it's very relaxed, isn't it?
Yeah, he is riding quite far back on this peloton, but also if he needed to go and fight for position, he'd be elbowing the likes of the other teams who have 4 or 5 riders, where he's left alone with 1. So you don't really kind of do that. It's kind of a lost battle. It's a lost energy. So you can't accept that the teams in the front have bigger numbers and they're doing their own race. So you kind of have to find your place in the peloton. And as you can see, it's all just teams one behind the other, and it's almost who has the most numbers gets the priority to be in the front.
Would Pidcock be expending more energy further on back down the group than he would if he was sitting where Adam Yates is sitting?
On this particular climb, not so much, because you can just see everyone is pretty smooth around the corners. When it's a climb with a lot of switchback, yes, because you have that little elastic effect. So if it was one of the typical Alpine climbs or the Pyrenees with switchbacks one after the other, he would be losing a lot of energy being that far back. On this climb, where basically the road is just so smooth, they're cutting the corners, but they're not blocking the often later on in the tour you will see when some of the riders want to kind of use the fact that they're riding, they will cut the corner not always on the good angle to make sure that the riders behind don't have to brake, but have to slow down or you get in their way. So there's little tricks like that where they will not automatically take the shorter way, but they'll cut the line to make sure that they are in control in the front. On a climb like this, it's so wide that there's no reason to do that. So positioning is just in case someone attacks. If someone attacks now from the very front, he's a long way to go and catch the wheel. But in terms of energy, it's still okay where he is. It's not dramatic. As you can see, Ayuso is still around there as well.
Yeah. So they'll just sit there, and then towards the end of this stage, they need to move up.
Yes. Also, we might see a bit of a stress coming into the KOM, but the descent is bigger than this. It's a really, really big road, and it's almost 100% straight. There's probably 3 turns on the descent. So again, it's not one of those descents where you have to fight for position to get over the KOM because the bunch might split. It's a pretty fast, steady descent and not dangerous.
These riders racing towards the top of the King of the Mountains. It's getting windy out here.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it's just not the helicopter, because where we are is not too windy, but we're also, I think, in a bit of a... Looks like we're a bit sheltered.
Yes.
But when we have the other further helicopter shots, we don't see the trees moving so much. But it seems to be a lot of wind there where they are, but I wonder if it's just a helicopter.
Prodom on the front, stage winner in the Giro d'Italia. Alex Bourdin, a stage winner in Tour Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, as they make their way towards the top of the climb now. Good pace being set by both of them. De Lee can only lose around about 8 minutes by the looks of things now. So it's starting to become even more fragile. Is this the high altitude training centre?
No. That's it.
Oh no, it's the solar furnace. Up there on the top, which is the world's first semi-industrial scale solar oven, built between 1962 and 1968, commissioned in 1970 for scientific research. Comprises 63 heliostats or mirrors, has a capacity of 1,000 kilowatts, one of the two largest solar furnaces in the world. The other one is in Uzbekistan. Mateo Verso, about to be caught now. He's had a good day. If he won the most combative rider of the day, I'd be thinking that was a good award after the amount of work he's done. One of the only riders to wear coloured shoes in the Tour de France with the blue shoes. Everybody else, bar hardly anyone, is wearing white shoes, except for Wiesma, who've kind of got, some of them have got these silver coloured shoes that are from the Giro d'Italia.
Can you see the gap there with the lead car are on the right of the screen?
This is the point where the tarmac changes as well. It becomes super smooth from now, doesn't it?
It does.
So it's been resurfaced. And it's always nice to get on that lovely smooth tarmac as we make our way up the mountain. This peloton is showing no mercy to the breakaway whatsoever. 56 seconds now.
Yeah, so I've just had the confirmation that there is no wind, so it's only 6 kilometers per hour, 5-6 kilometers per hour. That's just confirmed on the screen. So very little wind. So we're just seeing the helicopter creating a bit of turbulence. Yeah, you can just see the flags there, they're not moving at all.
If this peloton catch the breakaway and we get to the final, as George Bennett, he's had a great day in the New Zealand Champions colours. There he is. Good to see him at the front of the Tour de France, dishing it out today, getting involved in the breakaway. He said before the start he would try, he did. Ultimately, the peloton catches him, but if you don't try, you don't win. How did he get up there?
Into the town of Forme. 1.4 kilometers to go. Passing by our hotel soon enough. Well, yesterday's hotel.
Yeah. Population of 1,900 people. Full of chalets, hotels. An Olympic training centre that Nico's talked about. Lovely little town as we ride our way through. And we're 25 kilometres now from the finish line. I don't think anyone got the memo about not coming out on the road.
I mean, there were very few people on the previous climb.
Yeah, true.
I think once again, it's a lot of people who were there already. It was just trying to limit, because if you look at this, it's a lot less people on the top of La Molina. Oh, there's a flat.
Puncture here for Quinn Simmons. I was just about to say he's had a good day, Quinn Simmons. He's been in that group of riders all the time. It's diminished in numbers quite considerably, and he's still there.
Yeah, we know he has good legs when he needs to be up there on the climbs. The peloton go through the 25 kilometers to go.
Anton Pache again there in the group towards the back. Also in the group is Leonard Van Etveld in the colours of Lotto Intermarché on the right-hand side. For the fans today, they will not have seen the caravan. There's been no caravan going up these 40 kilometres. So they've missed out on the traditional arrival of the caravan, which always is that moment where you feel like the tour is about to arrive. Travels ahead of the race by a couple of hours, and you've worked on it, haven't you?
Yes.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. I wasn't officially employed. I came to get a hand.
Oh, okay. So we're not allowed to talk about it? No, okay. Oh, dear.
Like 25 years ago, the rules were different.
Very true.
I just came to visit my dad, and they asked me if I could just go and at the time they had the Camembert Cœur de Lion for the combativity prize, and they were giving away cheeses.
Okay.
And I went into the cheese truck because obviously you couldn't drive the whole 7 hours with the cheese in the car. So we had to go to different points to give the cheese back to the cars who were giving them out to the crowds. So I did that for a couple of days. It was fun, my first experience in the caravan. They're almost at the top now, 300 meters.
This is an important moment.
Very important.
Prodom
I think he's just saying, just go.
Go
Yeah,
and take
fair play.
it. That is fair play. I'll talk to you about why in a second. Prodom looking for the team car. He wants a bottle. That's the signal. Now we can say that Alex Bourdin is going to be the king of the mountains tonight because he's going to go over the top of this climb. Shimano give Nicola Prodom a water. Going to take a couple on board. And now EF Education Easy Post have a polka dot jersey as long as he makes it to the finish line. I'm sure he will. Bourdin, 23.5 kilometres to go, over the top of the climb, takes the points. Now he's the king of the mountains. That's a huge day.
Huge day, and smart riding there by Prudhomme, because if he took the points, they would be on equal points. No, they wouldn't be on equal points. He'd still be 1 point ahead.
Yes.
So he would have to win the stage. But again, it's very unlikely that he's gonna win the stage. So might as well keep a friend as a friend, and not battle for maybe a win when you know it's not gonna happen. So again, it was like, all right, it's a long Tour de France. Let's not make any enemies. We still need to be riding together. So why disrupt? They're riding well together, taking turns. So why disrupt that harmony at the front? All right, it's not gonna change. You'll still be ahead of me. So go for it. Let's be friends.
Over the top of the climb for UAE Team Emirates XRG and the rest of the peloton, or what's left of the peloton today. They're now going to make their way to the final climb. This looks like the high altitude training centre.
Yes, totally. You don't often see rugby pitches in ski stations.
No, exactly. Prodhomme is now waiting.
Oh, actually sitting up. Of course, he has success in the back now, so he's going to have to be able to be there in support. Filled up the back pockets with bottles to give to the teammates.
So his job today, just to explain then, Prodhomme's job has been go in the breakaway and see how long you can stay away. But now his total job changes.
Yes, there was a moment where it was about, okay, let's see exactly what you just mentioned. Let's see how far this breakaway goes. So it's important to be in the breakaway. Now we know that this breakaway has little chance, and we talk about a 3-week race and all about optimizing your team and your strengths. So it's like, okay, if you're there in the front, you're just going to lose another bit of energy. So might as well, we need you with us, get some bottles and go and help success. Put him into position. That might be more important than being in the breakaway another 20 minutes.
Alex Bourdin.
Two teammates, so there'll be 3 of them now, plus success. So
it's good they've brought someone back and it reinforces the team. Clever tactics by Decathlon CMA CGM. Here's the moment, and he says, thank you very much, well done. You go, I'm going back.
Yeah, that's the moment where he calls to get the bottles.
Just so you understand, everybody has got different roles and different thoughts about how they ride the Tour. Bourdin wants the stage win. He's got a jersey. Now he wants to win at the top of Les Angles and take this stage win. But it's going to be a very, very hard ask. He may also take the most combative rider of the day. Possibly. Prodhomme might take it for his sportsmanship. You never know.
Yeah, just to remember, this was done 30k to go, so these 2 riders were not alone yet.
Yeah, oh yeah, true. So
that's why I don't agree with this 30k to go. A lot can happen in the last 20k.
It can.
But I think in terms to count the votes, it might take them that much time logistically.
True. Prodhomme is caught already. One rider in the lead with 20 kilometres to go.
Now we have a long rolling part. This is the descent, big wide road, all the way to the bottom of this climb. Then turn left, and it'll be a valley road that will take us up a little drag for about 3 kilometers, and then shoot down. You will see the beautiful lake of Lizongle, and then turn left and start making your way up to the final part of today's stage. Wow, 35 minutes now for on the lead.
How close is it to him being eliminated?
It's extremely close. I will double check now the average speed. Let's see if maybe it has dropped down a little bit earlier on at 41. It was around 40 minutes, so it is close. But again, all my calculations are quite approximative, as you don't have the finishing time in mind.
Alex Bourdin, in his second Tour de France, is the leader of today's stage. He has been on the attack a long time today, and he's doing a wonderful job for EF Education Easy Post. We'll see how long he can hold on. Here's confirmation of the virtual mountains classification. Bourdin leads with 12 points from Prodom, who has 9. That means that Alex Bourdin will be on the podium of this race tonight. I'm sure for EF Education Easy Post, all these little wins, these moments on the podium, it all just makes all the preparation worthwhile. Because tomorrow morning he'll be again king of the mountains. He'll be on the front row of the grid. He'll have all his photographs taken and all that sort of thing that goes with being one of the riders who's in one of the leaders' jerseys. The amount of salt on those shorts. He's ridden a very tough stage today. We've got one climb remaining. He's riding well, taking all the different lines around the turns to make sure that he goes the quickest way to the finish line. And he's just giving the legs a little stretch, maybe a little bit of cramp. That he just stretches that left leg, gives it a little bit of a shake to make sure he's okay.
And this is the little bit that drags up again. About 3 kilometers drag on this road.
And now you'll notice much less fans at the side of the road. It's a lot quieter for Alex Bourdin as he just concentrates on the job in hand. The citadel of Montlouis, built between 1679 and 1681. Classic military architecture from the 17th century. It's kind of got a star-shaped, typical layout of Vauban, protected by dry ramparts, dry moats and bastions. It's home to the National Commando Training Centre and listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Cap closing down pretty quickly now, 20 seconds.
It's starting to hurt a lot now, isn't it? You can see on his face. He stretched that left leg. He's almost on his limit now. Almost licking his lips, trying to get some moisture on them as well. It's searingly hot. The ice has melted on his back. He doesn't have any further assistance from the team because the team car can't be behind him. They're too close. And here is the picture that will tell you the story. Alex Bourdin, the lone leader. The next motorbike comes around the corner. The TV motorbike is still alongside him with his gendarmerie to support him on the rear there. But there's the peloton. They come round the corner and UAE team Emirates of Tadej Pogačar and Isaac Del Toro are hunting down their prey. They want the stage win and they're ready to get set for the final climb of the day. There's still a lot of riders in here though, Nico. This climb suits certain style of riders. Does it purely suit a Pogačar, or is it a stage that could suit Remco or Vingegaard or Pidcock or someone like that?
No, I mean, Vingegaard was talked about it earlier on his interview, and yes, maybe it's a little bit too punchy for Vingegaard. But once again, it's been an extremely long and difficult day. So yes, if it was a shorter stage and just a single climb up to the finish of the 1.5 kilometers, you would say, okay, maybe it's too punchy for Vingegaard, who prefers those longer, steadier climbs. But at the end of the day, today's been extremely difficult, and I think it suits. I mean, it's a climb for all the favourites. You will need to be punchy just to be able to go and win the stage, but I do think Vingegaard will be up there as well as Remco. Let's see how Ayuso reacts to the accelerations in the last couple of 100 meters, because that's where you'll make the difference.
15 seconds. The American team with Bourdin. He knows that the time is limited out in the front. Keeps looking down at his feet, looking down at the gear that he's turning. Now he will be suffering badly. There in the back is the peloton coming round the corner again. Whilst Bourdin is on his limit, Del Toro and Piganzoli are just sitting up, spinning away, having a conversation. Jorgensen on the outside, still there. Jorgensen has been really good today, considering how many attacks he put in.
Yes, today he was very active at the beginning. They used him very early into the race. I did kind of think they would keep him for later on into the mountains, but it seems that on a stage where you have Stepkus around him that support him in the finish, there's Jorgensen just coming up to the front now. He will need to be keen to positioning their riders in that final part. Still about 40 riders.
Yeah, there's still an opportunity for many riders to win this stage. He's been given a little bit of time out in the front. They're coming up to the town of La Lagonne, which has a tiny population of 220 people. The village where Martin Fourcade, France's most decorated Olympic athlete with 6 gold and 1 silver medal in biathlon, was born. George Bennett still managing to hang on after all this time. This finish today has hosted Route d'Occitanie. We stopped there in 2022. Michael Woods, the Canadian, has won here. Remember his silent victory on the Puy de Dôme, Michael Woods. That was an incredible day out. Bourdin has 11 seconds now. Delia 37 minutes and 11 seconds. Who's going to hold the yellow jersey tonight? Vingegaard leads from Pogačar. Pogačar is 6 seconds down. Remco Evenepoel at 15 seconds. Nico, there's time bonuses still today.
Yes, 10, 6 and 4.
So Pogačar wins. He can be equal on time with Vingegaard if Vingegaard doesn't finish in the top 3. So it's going to come down to a matter of seconds at the end of today's stage by the looks of how things have gone. But judging by the way UAE have ridden today, Pogačar wants this win. He's not going to give it to anybody today, I wouldn't have thought. As we go past the gliders, all laid out, ready to fly. This little village we're riding up to, in 1961, the village had 250 inhabitants. It's now got 55-kilometre ski area, open in winter, 2 ski schools, 40 kilometres of Nordic trails. You can also do toboggan run on rails, and you can go down that toboggan run at 40 kilometres an hour. We're going to go past the incredible lake. The dam was built between 1957 and 1959. It sits at an altitude of 1,500 metres. And as now we're going to altitude, do the riders at this sort of level, about 1,800 metres, do they notice any changes, any difference?
Yes, you kind of kind of say around 1500 you could start feeling the altitude. So yes, we're not at crazy altitude, but you will already feel the effect of altitude and the lack of oxygen in the air.
Riders who spent a lot of time at altitude may well not suffer as much as others.
Yeah, I would say it's a bit like the heat. Altitude is, it's also about, you can train it, but it's also about how your body accepts it. You can, for example, some riders, they might go always and train at altitude, but they still don't. They do it for the training reasons, but not for altitude adaptation. In other cases, the same with the heat. You have riders, they can train in the heat all they want. They will always suffer in the heat. They just suffer a bit less. Or in the cold. So unfortunately your body kind of dictates for you, even if though you do train at altitude a lot. It just means you're a bit more used to it.
Six seconds. It's almost back now.
He's not getting up. He's not sitting up.
He's not, is he? I'm impressed at the way he's ridden. He's not been prepared to just let them have it. He's...
Hershey in the back of the cars trying to get back into the group.
He is making life hard for them, isn't he? They're having to continue to ride.
Oh, they won't slow down when they catch him.
They'll just go straight past.
Yeah.
It's more about momentum for the end of the stage to make everybody's life difficult.
Yeah, well now they have that little descent that you just mentioned. That's coming up quite shortly, just after this roundabout.
Now it goes quite fast downhill, doesn't it?
Yeah, very fast. It's a beautiful road down with the views onto the lake. I'm not sure they'll appreciate it, but myself and Luis Angel Mate this morning were just literally looking left on the way down.
Yeah, you can't help. You go over the top and start to descend down, and you start to see little parts of the lake, and then it opens up. Well done, Alex Bourdin. We'll see you on the podium later on in the King of the Mountains jersey. A fantastic day in the breakaway for this rider. He's dreamt of winning the stage. That hasn't come off, but he's done everything he can to put EF Education Easy Post on the podium tonight.
And there's only one other rider from the team, the EF Education Post, Easy Post. There is two riders sitting at the back of that peloton.
I think Michael Fulgrim might still be there.
No, I think I saw him earlier on.
Sean Quinn's there, and Richard Carapaz. So it's those two. Bourdin working his way back to them now. There's the lake. Absolutely stunning. Covers 223 hectares. It's renowned for its particularly fresh air around here because it's got a forest that borders it. It's known as a royal forest. The pines here were selected to make the mast for the ships of the French Royal Navy. Did you notice the hotel we were in last night? They'd taken the wood, I reckon, from this forest, and they put thin strips of it, kind of tree width part, but very thin, and then they'd carved it into the most incredible backdrop.
Nope.
I'll show you a picture.
I was too tired last night.
I'll show you a picture later. 70k an hour. It was beautiful. Absolutely stunning. The way they'd renovated this hotel. If you ever come and stay in this region, ask Nico and I the name of the hotel, because it's worth staying in. Unless, of course, England are playing football and one of your rooms nearby has got one of your colleagues in it who's awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. But that's another story.
Did you ask him if he stayed late or got up early?
He got up early. Alex Bourdin downhill now. On the back of the group, he just needs to get to the bottom of the climb, work his way up there. And there's the dam, which has got the colours of the jerseys of the Tour. One of them there on the right-hand side, Bourdin will be wearing later on today.
I'm missing the white jersey.
Yeah, where is the white jersey? It's a small but elite group of riders that make their way to the conclusion of today's stage. Stage 3, a big day in the saddle. The riders will feel this one. 195.9 kilometres of racing. The peloton is all together. The breakaway has been caught. Now it's about who has got the legs on this final rise up to the finish line at Les Anges. You've ridden this climb.
Yes, I have. And so I start dragging up once they go left through a forest. It's a little drag, 2 to 3%, all the way into Les Angles. Once you go into Les Angles, it gets a bit narrow. You're in between the old town, a bit steep as well. There's 1 or 2 ramps into that town, and then it flattens out for about 1 kilometre. You go underneath the tunnel, past the car park where you were parked this morning with the big ski lift. Drags up at a time for about 1.5 kilometres, and then you turn right, and it's literally doing a U-turn, and you start the final part of this time, which is the one that they categorized of 1.7 kilometres at 6.5. But you are really climbing about 4 kilometres, almost 5 kilometres. But the part until the bottom of the climb is quite easy. If you survive the rest of this day, you'll be able to hang in there until the climb. You might see the peloton stretch a little bit. Team radio.
Bravo, Alex, bravo. Storm, Richie, tight together. Tight.
It is a Carapaz finish as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's one of those punchy riders. He likes those finishes. We saw him very good yesterday on that climb.
Absolutely.
And this is nothing like yesterday.
No.
So this is the drag in the forest that will take you towards the town of Les Angles.
Pogacar now has his race face on the right-hand side. Takes another bottle. How many bottles has Tadej Pogacar gone through today? Lidl Trek have got Quinn Simmons, and Vasek is also there. He's a danger man for today's stage. Watch out for him.
He'll be leading out of Yuso.
Oh, Uso is still there as well.
I hope so.
And Skelmoser.
Skelmoser.
They've got so many riders who could win this stage.
I think Vasek has a busy job with Ayuso and Skelmoser.
Pidcock moves up right-hand side. For the first time, Pidcock is in the first few rows of riders. Valentin Parry-Pant is on his right-hand side. Carapaz takes another drink.
Sextas there at the back of the peloton. So Skelmoser still waiting a bit there.
You can feel a little bit of tension now. These riders, there is Tish Benoot. Lennart van Eppel moves up. There is Paul Sextas. Can he win a stage? Can he take a stage in his debut Tour de France? You will hear the roar across France if he does. Only 6k to go. The fans have all had to come to this area. They're not allowed at the finish line. When we look out, there is no one really around the finish. It's going to go quiet. There's a few people, but not much at all. The first motorbikes are starting to come up this climb. There's Vingegaard, just 2 places behind Pogacar. De Lee is nearly 40 minutes behind now.
Yeah, so I think the gap today will be closer to 45 than 40.
So he's got a buffer.
So he's got a bit of a buffer, yeah.
Let's
Hopefully we'll have the information once they cross the line, but he usually comes up onto the finishing arch.
Let's hope he makes it. Also in here for the Movistar team, they've got one rider. Kian Uterbrooks has got through the day. Also in here is Raul Garcia Peña, still there. Tiberia's made it through as well. Remco Evenepoel won't make the same mistake he made yesterday. Paid a little bit of a gamble and it didn't work. Now he needs to try and bring this home, but Pogacar to me looks so focused with Del Toro on the front. The team are doing the work as they bring this race to the bottom of the climb. It's Grossschartner behind him. A couple of places back is Adam Yates. Then it's Isaac Del Toro and Pogacar. Vasek on the left-hand side, moving up. Can Uno X Mobility do something? They've got Tobias Johannesson, who's been finishing in top places in races all year. Loads of top 10 places. Ayuso starts to move as well.
He's got Carlos Verona just doing the job there in the positioning with Quinn Simmons.
And then Van Etveld moves up. Van Etveld is a rider who I've seen sit in a press conference alongside Tadej Pogačar and be asked what his thoughts are in a race and look across at Pogačar and say, I'm not here to finish second. So I know what he's like. He can be very, very focused, Lennart Van Etveld. He believes he can win this stage, I'm sure. Florian Lipovitz is there on our left-hand side. Parry Pant, we're going to have a sprint of the climbers as Verona now moves to the front with Quinn Simmons, with Ayuso.
Parry Pant is riding for Van Wilder.
That's a good move. Van Wilder is a punchy rider at this sort of finish. Quinn Simmons in the radio. He's now got a head unit on his bike again. Vasek moves up, Ayuso trying to get on the wheel of his teammates. There's Egan Bernal. Bernal wanted to win this stage.
He's helping out.
He's got Arensman. They look across, big move of Wiesma as Sepp Kuss moves up to take control. A little bit of a drag race now between the different teams. UAE on the left-hand side. Wiesma now take control with Sepp Kuss and Lidl Trek with Carlos Verona behind him, Quinn Simmons. 4K to go.
So now they're still on this road for a little while, and I will take them right into the old town where that little ramp is and where it gets pretty narrow. It's only a couple of 100 meters. It's just that positioning we might stretch the peloton a little bit. And there's Success now moving on the right-hand side of the road with his full team. Tiege Benoot just in front of him.
This is going to be some finish.
Quinn Simmons is pushing his eye. No, that's my space. Closing his line there. Protecting his team leader.
Closed it completely, didn't he? To Decathlon. And put Carlos Verona in front of him and just put Decathlon completely out of the picture. No messing from Quinn Simmons at all.
But that's the way to do it. When you're in the finish and you have to protect your team leader, you have to close the door. That's part of the work. And he should be staying totally on the right, which he's doing at the moment to make sure no one goes around him. And there's acceleration from Sepp Kuss.
Very clever riding from Quinn Simmons. Perfect. Sepp Kuss now starts. Oh, a bit of a bump in
Yates takes the front. So this is the part that I was telling you about going into the town where it's a bit tight. Oh, Parry Pant, is there a crash or he just swung off? No, he swung off.
He swung off now. Right on the back of the group is Janis Voisard. But now it's Jorgensen against Yates. Jorgensen in the middle in the black. Quinn Simmons moves up. Vingegaard moves ahead now of Pogačar in that yellow jersey. It's going to be a sprint of the contenders for today's stage. 3 kilometers of racing to go. Simmons is starting to wind it up a little bit now. Riders are dropping off the back. Big crowd at the bottom of the climb.
And that kind of flattens out for about 600 meters. That's the part where it flattens out. Going around the roundabout. Whoa, left. There's a lot shorter on the left.
And they came out and Pogačar lost about 10 places as he moves his way back on the wheel. Now Pogačar trying to shut the gap. Wiesma had that perfect with Jorgensen taking that left-hand line. Yates is in second wheel. Behind is Vingegaard as we see Pogačar move up smoothly now, with no other riders of his team around him now.
You could just picture the green helmet of Del Toro trying to move on the left there, just blocked behind the side of Quinn Simmons.
Here comes Jai Hindley.
There we go.
Moving up on the outside with Florian Lipovitz and also bringing Remco Evenepoel into place. Hindley doing a fantastic job.
And now in about 300 meters, they're going to take a sharp right. There's a 2K to go. Paul Sexas literally in second wheel.
Carapaz
no, he's not. There he is on the wheel of Tadej Pogačar.
Ayuso is there. And moving up on the outside, Johannesson. 1,800 meters to go. Now the team of Lidl Trek really up the tempo with Vasek. They get ready for this corner, and Vasek peels off and lets them go. Oh, I thought there was going to be a rider fall there. One of the UAE riders didn't have a good climb into that corner. Third category climb. There's your vital statistics. 1,700 metres to go now as Jai Hindley puts on the pressure. Maxime Van Gils drops off. Hindley looking good. Del Toro arrives at the front in the green jersey, ready to pay back Pogačar for yesterday. Tish Benoot on the radio, left-hand side. Nico, this is flat out.
This is flat out now, 1.5 kilometers to go. Another one, and Sepp Kuss tries to accelerate around the corner there, takes the front. And obviously the higher the speed, the better it is for Vingegaard. He's not going to take so many of the punch of the attacks. Sepp Kuss doing a great job there. Del Toro on the wheel.
1,400 metres. Sepp Kuss in control. Pogačar ready to strike. Sexas a little bit far back now as he tries to move up onto the wheel of Pogačar and Vingegaard. Tish Benoot's going to bring him forward.
Carapaz in a good position. And there's Ayuso coming on the left, trying to push away there.
And Johannesson moves to Nico on the right.
1 kilometre to go.
Being distanced now, Tiberi hasn't got the legs. Tiberi has been there all day. Pidcock is still there, but he's not really in the fight. Del Toro shoulders the elbow of Sepp Kuss and puts Pogačar into a perfect position. 1k to go, and the climbers are going to sprint it out for the finish line.
And yes, and the speed just gone up there by a fair bit. All in the seated position. Vingegaard on the wheel. Sexas just there as well. Remco Evenepoel, all the favourites at one, behind the other, 850 metres to go. Carapaz looking good and focused there as well, as an outsider.
Well, they've got the King of the Mountains jersey. Can they take the stage win? On the front, Del Toro in green, Pogačar behind him, Vingegaard, Sexas, moving now, about to be an attack if he thinks about it, Lennart van Etveld. Also moving up, Ayuso is still there. So all the contenders bunched together at 24k an hour. 600 metres to go. They can hear now the announcer, and they're going to have no fans at the side of the road, hardly at all. One or two here and there.
As the start set flatten out, coming up soon after that corner. 500 metres to go. And looks like it's going to be a sprint or a really late attack. Here's Carapaz getting ready.
Carapaz gets ready to go, 450 metres. Del Toro starts to up the tempo now, really starts to stamp, puts the torque on the pedals. Pogačar on his wheel. Vingegaard gets ready to strike, 350 metres. Paul Sexas wants this stage victory as well, but they're all queuing up behind Pogačar. Still Del Toro on the front. Carapaz gets ready. Remco is being distanced. Remco Evenepoel doesn't have the legs today. He leaves a gap he doesn't want to leave this time. Pogačar now starts to explode into life. There is no answer. Pogačar just powers away, and he's going to put daylight into everybody. Yesterday it was Del Toro. Today it's UAE again. Pogačar with the 22nd win of his career in the Tour.
That was perfectly played there in the finish. It wasn't about putting 20 seconds and going quite early. He waited to the last ramp to be able to put his acceleration. That was more than enough to take a few seconds and the stage win. Great preparation. Toro.
Put the pressure on, didn't he, on that explosion. 2 days, 2 UAE riders win. Pogačar has won now 7 years in a row a stage in the Tour. Well, they rode all day. So much power.
Yeah, there's a moment when Isaac Del Toro accelerated. It's always deceiving when they're in the seated position. You can't really appreciate the speed until you have the aerial shot.
Talk us through this finish.
Oh, there you go. He went about 300 meters to the finish line. Big acceleration. Opened up a gap. Then looked back, sprinted to the line to take his 22nd win. Confirmed. 22nd win. Vingegaard doing a good job there to cross the line just behind him.
Pouring water over himself all day today, Pogačar. He's learned how to deal with the heat. He's won a stage every single year since 2020. Nico, here's the helicopter.
And this is the moment where he decides to go. Zagatoro really keen to go onto the left-hand side of the road. Vingegaard sits down, has a look behind, sees what's happening. Sees there's a gap open, he doesn't give up. Pogačar just really dominating there, that sprint in the last 250, 300 meters of today's stage. Carapaz really doing a big effort to get around Sextas. But Vingegaard doing extremely well to defend his jersey. Actually, should be equal, I think.
It's going to be close, isn't it? Because
there's only 2 seconds with the bonuses, so I don't know if they're going to calculate a 2-second gap between them or not.
That's true.
But there's about 2 seconds to give. And interesting to see that Isaac Del Toro didn't completely set up. Once he saw that he could, the line was there, so sprinted to the line, make sure he doesn't lose too much time. Here's the stage.
Let's take a look at the result of stage 3. Pogačar wins the stage by 2 seconds from Vingegaard. Carapaz, Sextas, Johannesson with a great result, and Van Etveld. Behind them, Lipovitz, Remco Evenepoel didn't have the legs on that sprint. Del Toro in 9th and Ayuso in 10th, so it's going to be very, very close. 10.64 at the finish line, isn't
equal
it?
on time.
So they're going to be equal on time. Let's take a look. Pogačar takes the jersey equal on time, courtesy of today and his stage victory. Vingegaard equal on time. Remco stays in 3rd. Del Toro in 4th. And look, there's a bit of a shift around. Lipovitz, Martinez, Johannesson and Van Wilder move into the places in the top 10, shifting up places. Here is the rider who was the last man standing. Alex Bourdin, a good day for EF Education Easy Post. Carapaz looks good.
Yeah, it was a good day for them. It was important for them to be in the breakaway. They were in the breakaway. And then also important to be in the final and in the stage. And Carapaz finished off a good day. It was a great climb there for him.
He should be proud of that performance today. Virtual yellow jersey at times. There's more people
with staff, I think. But it's mainly staff.
Yeah.
Everyone has a yellow band around the neck. It's mainly staff from the TV crews.
It is, isn't it? Well, we look out over this amazing lake. And a beautiful area. And get ready for the presentation.
Yesterday was, I'm not going to talk about sweet revenge because yesterday was almost a victory for you, but this one is a real victory and it has a good taste.
Look, it's because of him. It's because of Isaac today. I get some extra power, I think, in the final. Yeah, he commit more than 100% in the final climb, and I mean, all the team actually, in the middle of the stage, we decided that it's possible to go for the stage win, and yeah, I'm really happy that yeah, we started through like this, and yeah, incredible finish today.
Yeah, because yeah, you're apparently very hungry. You could have let the breakaway go, but you wanted to win today.
I'm not so hungry. I eat every 30 minutes one gel, so it's not so hungry. But no, it's yeah, no, it was yeah, if we can win like we did today, and the team feels super good. We have to take the opportunity, and yeah, we tried and we give it all, and we win.
And more glory. You like the glory.
I don't know. I want to go on the rollers now.
You capture the yellow jersey. That's the other good news of the day.